Thanks, Rayoman. Good evening to all of you and thanks for joining this Q4 and full year FY19 earnings call for Cupid Limited. We have mailed the press release to you. I hope you have received the same, and we have also uploaded this on our website and the stock exchanges. To discuss the results and address the queries of the investors, we have with us Mr. Om Garg, Chairman and Managing Director of the company. Mr. Garg will give a brief overview of the quarter gone past, and then we will open the floor over to Q&A session. I would like to remind you that everything said on this call that reflects any outlook for the future or which can be construed as a forward-looking statement must be viewed in conjunction with the uncertainties and the risks that we face. These uncertainties and risks are included but not limited to what we have mentioned in the prospectus filed with SEBI and subsequent annual reports which you can find on the website. With that said, let me hand over the call over to Mr. Garg. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Binay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Cupid Limited, I would like to welcome you all at the fourth quarter FY19 and the full year FY19 earnings conference call today. As Binay had mentioned, we hope that you have had a chance to go through the press release we had issued after the board meeting last night. In any case, I will go through some of the highlights for this conference. We had an excellent fourth quarter, where we had recorded the maximum sales ever in the 25-year history of Cupid at approximately 37 CR. And not only that, during the quarter, we had recorded the highest ever percentage of export sales at 95%. As a result, our bottom line, net profit, increased from approximately 2 CR in the prior year quarter to about 4.3 CR during the fourth quarter FY19. Similarly, for the entire year FY19, we have recorded the highest sale ever at 85.5 CR ever recorded in the 25-year history of the company. Further, just like the quarter, our export percentage during this financial year 19 was the highest ever at 83%. In terms of the bottom line, we have provided the three reasons for the reduction in the net profit in the press release, and we can discuss this more during our Q&A session. Now, I would also like to mention that during the year and the quarter, we had the opportunity to enter into the Brazilian market for the first time, and as many of you are aware, this is one of the largest condom market in the world. Further, we are taking additional steps in preparation to enter the U.S. female condom market. Again, we would have more details during the Q&A session on the potential for U.S. FC female condom market. We also have a very healthy order book at 134 CR, and as you will recall, at this time last quarter, we had 130 CR, and we have dispatched 36 out of that and have added additional orders, new orders during the fourth quarter at 49 CR, bringing the total order book to 143 CR. In terms of dividend, earlier we had declared an interim dividend of 1 rupee per share, and at our last night's board meeting, we have declared, or at least recommended, rupees 3 per share dividend, bringing to a total of rupees 4 per share. This is in addition to the 20% bonus shares we had declared earlier in the year. Okay, we have demand for both male and female condoms are very robust, and the reasons are again mentioned in the press release, but briefly I would point out that the donor funding for the procurement of condoms has been the best ever in several years, resulting in more orders for manufacturers like Cupid. The second positive aspect is that the consumer demand from the lower and middle income countries have expanded quite a bit during the year and is expected to continue over the next few years. And the third reason is that the national governments like Brazil, South Africa, and even India have expanded their budgets for the procurement of condoms, and this is to prevent the spread of HIV/AIDS as well as to prevent unintended pregnancies. Now, looking at the future, based on the current data we have available, we are targeting an increase of 20 to 25% in terms of both the top line and bottom line for FY20. With these words, I would like to open the discussion now for the Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask questions may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking questions. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. To ask questions, you may press star and 1. The first question is from the line of Omkar Kulkarni, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Omkar Kulkarni, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Congratulations on the good set of numbers, first of all.
Thank you.
Yeah. My question is, out of this 143 CR, what's the contribution from male and female, and what's the timeline for this 143 CR? That's the first question.
Okay. The split between male and female condoms are male condoms 60 CR and balance is female condoms at 83 CR. And out of these, we expect to execute between 105 to 110 CR by March 31st, 2020. The balance of the order will be carried into the following year, FY21.
Okay, so this means this current financial year you will be having higher contributions from female.
We should have more contribution from female based on the order book.
Yeah, so actually that will be good for the margin front, right?
I'm sorry?
That will be good for your overall margins, sir. That's what I am saying.
So this is including all the female condom orders we have, including, of course, Brazil.
Yeah, I'm saying this will help your margins significantly because it is carrying higher margins, right? Female.
Correct.
Okay. The second question is, what's the status on the US FDA and all the process regarding that?
Yeah, we have taken several steps with respect to US FDA. First of all, we have applied for the trade registration and it should be coming through within a year. The second step we have taken is that we have engaged a consultant to help us in our 510K application. The third step we have taken is that we have started the contraceptive efficacy study to prove that it's a safe product to use. In other words, there would be no pregnancy while using Cupid female condoms. Also, we have just started to sell Cupid female condoms on the online sales directly into US, which we are going to do more and more. Based on that, we are expecting at least 1 rupee per piece revenue after deducting the marketing expenses there. $1 per piece. Our target is to get the active sales and marketing going in the second half of 2020, after the pregnancy study results are available in June 2020.
Okay, so all in all, you expect commercialization or the marketing and sale of product to US in the second half of 2020?
We would make a start, but
okay.
the more business would be done, I think, in the early 2021.
Okay, and when do you think the approval from US FDA would come?
I think at the same time, at the second half of 2020. We are hoping, although US FDA is actually slow in responding to the queries, but we are hoping by the end of next year.
Okay, and right now how many players are there, sir?
There is only one recognized player who is eligible to supply to the US.
But so 100% is with them currently?
Right now 100% is correct. And our target is to capture at least 10% of that $10 million US prescription category business when we do come in the business. So it would be about $1 million sales we are targeting for the first year, which is about 7 CR additional revenue.
So $10 million is the overall market you are seeing?
According to the industry sources, the current US prescription market is about $10 million. In addition, there is a demand for female condoms from several big cities in US, particularly New York City and San Francisco.
Okay, and is there any government tender also for US?
I'm sorry?
Does US government also come with a tender for FC?
No, not yet. Most of the purchases are done by states and the individual cities, not a national tender so far.
Okay, and the one question is on Brazilian tender size, which you had mentioned earlier this year that the overall tender size would be around 30 million pieces. So how much of this is captured into the sales, and what's the status on that tender from Brazil?
Okay, the exact quantity for the tender from Brazil is 29.3 million pieces, and which is a total value of about 74 CR. And in the fourth quarter, we have dispatched about 6 CR worth of female condoms to Brazil.
Okay, so this 74 CR is for Cupid Limited.
Yes, this is the order exclusively for Cupid.
And what was the total tender size out of this 29.3 million?
The total was 35 CR, like I had indicated in the 35 million rather, as I had indicated in the last conference call.
Okay, so almost 30 million has been given to Cupid, right? So that's a good thing, good sign.
Say that again, please.
So out of 35 million, 30 has been awarded to Cupid on basis of only lower price, or what was the other criteria for issuing such a huge order for Cupid?
There were several criteria. For example, the quality of product, and we had to go through their regulatory requirements in terms of our product manufacturing, as well as a review of our management system. In addition, there was a 3-man team auditing our factory and facilities. So with all those activities, we qualified to participate in this international tender for the first time. And as a result of that, we were awarded 29.3 million out of a total of 35 million quantity award.
Okay, that's great to hear. One last question is on the JV in Africa, sir. What is the current status?
Okay, unfortunately, the additional conditions imposed by the lender in the JV were not making a very profitable proposition for the two partners, the South African partners as well as Cupid. So we have more or less dropped that idea. However, another South African party has approached us, and they have offered more lucrative terms to go with both male condoms and female condoms for local manufacturing. And that party would be visiting Cupid next week for some commercial discussions.
Okay, so that's what you have mentioned, that 2 customers have been added this quarter.
Sorry, say that again, please.
In the press release, you have mentioned 2 customers from Africa. They have been added. So, are you talking about them?
No. These are the 2 new customers who had applied to the Treasury, South African Treasury, and they got orders to sell Cupid female condoms to the government there. So, this was not part of the JV. That is like partnership sale.
Okay, so basically,
sales to our agent.
Okay, so they are your agents. Okay. Thanks a lot. I'll come back in the queue. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vaishali Kumar from Vihan Investments. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you for the opportunity. So I wanted to understand that in this US market, our competitor, at what price they are selling their product?
As we understand, it's about $3 per piece.
Oh. Okay, so is that a fair assumption that we can double our profit in next 2 years?
Yes, it is a fair assumption.
Oh, wow, that's really good, sir. And so one more thing, that in our new customer base, which is from South Africa, this is for which segment? It's for male condom or female condom?
Our customers, we have both for male condoms as well as female condoms. But as you are aware, we are exporting male condoms for the first time to South Africa, whereas we have been exporting female condoms since 2010 there.
Okay. Okay. So that's it from my side, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pratik Chauhan from TIK Investments. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My question is, are you planning to enhance your business through like menstrual cups or something in the business of that?
Please say it again.
Are you planning to enhance your business into the market of menstrual cup or something like that? It is also made up with latex rubber.
We have been thinking about it, but we have not prepared any business plan as yet.
Okay, sir. Thank you. That's it from me. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Akash Banbalia, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Looking at as you just mentioned in the initial introduction that this has been the best quarter, but looking at the last conference call transcript, you said that quarter 3 was weak because the 2 orders that LC did not come on time. So this were the sales that you had asked us to look into previous quarter only. So I guess it's not one of the best quarters accordingly then.
Could you please repeat that?
So I am just saying that last conference call in quarter 3, you said that December quarter had 10 crore of sales because 2 of the major orders, which were 20 crores approximately, were dispatched in quarter 4 because the LC did not come in place from the client.
Correct.
So that means if I reduce those 20 crores from this quarter, then we have not done that great. The company has not performed that great.
No, the reason for that is that one of the 2 customers, which was Tanzania, they came through with LC and we have fulfilled the entire quantity for the 4th quarter, a total of 8.5 CR so far. However, in terms of Brazil, the purchase orders we had received in the 4th quarter was worth only about 6 CR. And the reason for that is that they have their own regulatory and import restrictions. So that is the reason that the total quantity was not exported from Brazil. However, in April and May and June, this June quarter, we are expecting a higher number, at least 11 or so CR worth of goods.
No. So I'm not able to understand, sir. That means that December quarter was drastically very weak. If this was the condition, then because you said you told in the last conference call that the 2 sales were to be considered in this quarter. We couldn't do it because of we couldn't dispatch it because the LCs did not come, letter of credit. So either we should take it in this quarter or the last quarter. Hello?
We seem to have lost the line for the management. Participants, please stay connected while we reconnect the management. participants, thank you for patiently holding your lines. We have the line for the management reconnected. Over to you, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, am I audible, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted to understand. I see you told us that in last quarter 20 crores should be considered. It was just a formality of LC that came a bit late in quarter 4. So if that came because you told as the results come late of quarter 3, so you told LCs came into quarter 4. Otherwise, this 20 crores is to be considered in December quarter. So that means we were assuming that the December quarter would be selling would have a top line of 30 crores.
We were expecting a total sale of 20 CR, as you have rightly mentioned. However, the funding from Brazil came only for 6 CR and 8.5 from Tanzania for a total of 14.5 crore instead of that original 20 crore.
Okay, that means the reason might be anything, but if we see from March 17 to March 19, the yearly, we have not grown hardly anything. It is 85 crores in March 17, 80 crores in March 18, and 85 crores in March 19 for the yearly total top line that we have. But the employee salaries have increased from 5 crores to 7 crores. That is almost a 50% hike. But our top lines are not performing and our employees are getting benefited. I mean, that is not something I can correlate with.
No, we moved up from about 80 CR to 85 in FY19, and one of the reason is that the major contracts from South Africa, they were completed last year. So that is also reflected in the 85 CR top line.
I understand. What you are saying is correct, sir. But if you compare March 19 to even March 17, even in March 17, we had achieved 85 crores. So since past 3 years, the company is not able to even cross 100 crores. But the salaries have increased from 5 crores to 7 crores. So there is a 50% hike overall, what I can see. So
no, first of all, we are targeting to cross over 100 CR in the current financial year, as I indicated earlier.
Mm-hmm. That is what we are trying to achieve. That is a future thing that we are expecting from the management. But looking at the past, I am not unable to understand on what basis or what governance the 5 crores in salary costs have gone up to 7 crores. Why there was a 2 crore extra payment when the company has not performed that? When the company has not grown 50%, why the employees have taken a hike of 50%?
Some of it is related to the business development expenses in Brazil specifically.
I mean, I'm sorry, but fail to understand. But there is no development since past 3 years. It's on an average 80 to 85 crore. That's the flat top line that we are increasing. And if I see the PBT also, PBT, if you see, sir, from 32 crores, we have gone down drastically to 20 crores.
What has gone down to 20 CR?
From in March 17, we were at 32 crores PBT, profit before tax. And now at March 18, we are at 20 crores. So if you see, there is a drastic fall.
Yeah, and we have given those 3 reasons. 3 CR relates to the inventory write-off. Another 3 CR is the the business development expense, and about 2.5 to 3 CR is the result of lower percentage of female condoms as compared to the male condoms. So that would make up the difference of the reduction in EBITDA you are mentioning.
So 3 crores inventory loss. We had a 3 crores of inventory loss. When did this happen, sir? Which year?
So could you please speak a little louder about your question on the inventory?
Sir, when did we lose 3 crores of inventory that we scrapped out? Which year?
This is in March 19.
Okay, we lost 3 crores. And the reason for that, why it was scrapped?
No, the reason we have given there is that with the government of India, we had supplied some of the orders, and we were expecting the follow-up orders which were delayed due to their internal process and maybe bureaucratic setup, and they did not come through until the expiry date of the condoms. So as per the regulatory requirements, we had to write off that inventory, unfortunately. If that would not have been the case, our profit shown would be 18 CR instead of 15. And with respect to the other 3 CR business development expense, this is a very little amount. I know 3 crores is a lot of money, but we are looking at 74 crores worth of order from Brazil in the current year, and they are already planning a similar tender for the next year. And I must point out that to enter into the Brazilian market, many other manufacturers and our competitors have tried, and very few have succeeded because their requirements are quite stiff in terms of the product quality, registration requirements, auditing requirements, and of course the little bit of language issue is there as they deal in Portuguese. So what I am saying is that this business development expense is worth it for this largest condom market in the world. And hopefully we would be active there for next several years. So we should not just look at this year's, of course, impact on bottom line, but look at a more in the future.
I will buy that point of yours, but if we had the Indian government had failed to take up our orders, was there? Did we try and means I barely see as a user. Okay, I barely see in our Indian domestic market the Cupid brand. So if we had 3 crores of inventory available, we could have sold it within the Indian market itself. But which we didn't do it.
I'm sorry, I'm not getting your question. So could you please speak a little louder again?
Sir, I'm saying basically if we had 3 crores of inventory, we didn't. Why didn't we try and sell it in the Indian market, like through retail channels? Why did we have to scrap it?
Which one?
Indian market में government order sell out क्यों नहीं किया?
Yeah, government order, like I had mentioned, the orders did not come in time.
No, sir. Sir, I would like to interrupt. I was saying if the orders didn't come, why didn't we sell it through retail channels? Like how Durex and all other brands, Kohinoor sell their products through retail channels. Why didn't we sell the 3 crore? We could have earned a good margin also over there.
No, there is a expiry, as you know, there is an expiry on each of the condoms, and unless it is sold before the expiry date, that condom has to be discarded. This is the actually first time ever Cupid has done so, and now we have the new order from the same Department of Health, Government of India for 25 CR, which we would be starting in June.
No, sir. Because what I remember, generally the expiry date of a condom is basically of 1 year. Okay. So if we had created that 3 crores of material in this financial year also, the expiry would come in the expiry of all those condoms would come in the next phase. We could have sold it. We could have kept it in our inventory under the closing stock, and we could have sold it. But we have scrapped it. That is what I'm not able to understand. Or either we created beforehand in financial 18 and we took it forward and then we scrapped it. What was the manufacturing cost?
No, manufacturing cost is our normal cost. This is the amount we have written it off. Now, to answer your question, it's illegal to hold the condoms which have expired. We are not allowed by law to keep it in our premises, nor are we allowed to sell it, even at discount.
No, sir. I'm not asking. I'm asking when was this 3 crore inventory manufactured, the date of manufacturing.
Correct. It was 2017-18 year, about a year ago.
So and they deny and they didn't give us a permission. Suppose this order was prepared for March 17-18. Okay, we could have sold it before, and we knew that the condoms come with an expiry date. So we might have waited for 6 months. For next 6 months, did we try and sell it off? Or how long did we wait till the end moment? Because if there is an expiry, you might not even give it to Indian government.
No, the government authorities, they were aware when the condoms were manufactured and what is the expiry date. However, they did not come through with the follow-up orders as had been agreed and planned. So that is why in this new 25 CR order, we have to be more careful in terms of coordinating the order book from the government with the production schedule.
Okay. So as you just mentioned that there was a business development cost of another 3 crores. Okay. So that is reflected since March 15 to March 19. March 18 to March 19. There is an increment of other expenses of 5 crores that I can understand. But there is no answer for my question for the employee cost increase of 2.5 crores, that is 50%. Because the only pain point that I feel that the company did not perform well is the employees couldn't give a good turnover.
Yeah, I guess this is one way to put it.
So, how do we compensate? And what is out of the 7 crores, what is the top management taking out of this thing? And in 5 crores in March 17, what was the management taking out as a bonus? Can you give me a brief on that? Because the only factor that is because basically, how would I tell you, is creating questions in our mind of all the investors is that the company used to give great performance, and all of a sudden it has gone to average, and the employee cost is increasing, other expenses are increasing, and the market capitalization, market cap has also fallen 50%. So there are a lot of questions that we are scared of.
No, in terms of the management compensation and expenses, there is absolutely no increase between 17-18 and 18-19. And just for your information, out of the 12 condom manufacturers in India, only 3 are profitable, including Cupid.
Mm-hmm. And so what is the other income of 2.47 that we have generated? That is our through investments or through interest income?
Yeah, mostly it is the investment income plus there is about 80 lakhs of export incentives.
Okay. So the 80 lakhs will reflect in a cash, or it will be termed as credit when we export next to Brazil or Tanzania.
I'm sorry, please say that again.
So this 80 lakh will come as a cash flow to us, or will it be, we'll have to use it as a credit when we export to Brazil in this quarter?
Again, I'm sorry, I still can't get you.
I'm asking the 80 lakhs that we are getting will be in proper cash format, or will can we generate some interest income and then or it will be just a credit whenever we are paying the custom duty or anything while exporting?
No, this is the export incentive provided by the government of India to Cupid as a manufacturer, and this amount, this license, we can either use it to import machinery for Cupid's use, or we can more or less cash it out.
Okay. So what is the plan that the management is taking? Are we planning to have one more unit installed, or are we planning to cash out?
No, right now our plan is to cash it out because we have acquired all the machinery we needed in this year earlier. So there is no major capex requirement in next 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
So we'll cash it out.
Okay, you'll cash it out. So, and are we planning to cash out and make investments, or are we gonna give it on, put it in FD or something? Are we planning to acquire?
Most of our 32 CR cash reserves are in either FDs or in mutual funds.
Okay.
So our cash position is pretty good at 32 CR.
Okay. Okay. And so I would also like to understand, as you mentioned in earlier conference calls as well, that out of this 80 crores of whatever we are achieving since past 3 years, and our machineries are running at 90% productivity. Okay. So, and now you just mentioned that we will be crossing 100 crores this year. So, are the existing machineries have been upgraded, or we have are the new line of plant and machinery are in process, have started their production?
Yes, like I had mentioned in the last Concall, we have increased our capacity from 400 million pieces per year to 560 million pieces per year, and they have been completed in March. And now the additional production units are manufacturing condoms for our export customers. So it's all done, accomplished.
Okay. And sir, last question on the dividend front. The reason I'm asking this question is because I feel to understand that if, as an investor, when I'm putting a money in your company, I feel that you have the capacity to give me a 20% or 25% rate of return. Okay, that is why we are investing. But if you give my money back to me, so that doesn't make sense. If I had the knowledge how to make my own money 25%, I wouldn't have invested in companies. So why are we giving out dividends and paying taxes, and our cash flows are getting this thing disturbed? I mean, that you could still invest in mutual funds, or invest in the capex or marketing expense or the business development expense, rather than giving back to the shareholders and to the Indian government through dividend distribution tax. I mean, that amount can be generated for that purpose.
No, as you are aware, our cash position is quite strong, and we are almost a debt-free company, and we are generating additional cash every quarter. So our plans going forward is to get into diversification, either try to acquire another business or go into a related business, and we are looking at female sexual health and wellness area as our next expansion target in the next 2 years.
I understand. So that's exactly my point. So when we are having so many of plans that requires good amount of investments, there's no need for a company like Cupid, which is a small cap company, to give away their cash to governments, like by issuing dividends. We could have some way acquired or something but rather, or you could have just invested that money in mutual funds or through FDs or something and kept it with you. So that because once you give it back to shareholders, it's no way coming back to the company.
So I wish you can convince rest of the 18,000 shareholders that Cupid should not be giving them a dividend.
I mean, if this sounds logical, then I mean, everybody would be convinced that if you give us an assurance that the Cupid can give us, as you just mentioned in the initial call, that we can give 20-25% rate of return by giving 3 rupees per share, and I mean, why an investor is investing in a company is because he doesn't know how to make 20-25% of his money. He is believing in another company, that is why he invests. But getting back the same money and then taking, and then we go in future debts or something, then we take interest. That's not, I mean, that's where I have a disconnect at.
Now, I would really appreciate if you could send us a note with all these brilliant ideas, and we will definitely consider modifying some of our long-term financial planning.
Okay, fine, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sumu Murugesan, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello, sir. Thank you for taking my question. So my first question is in terms of the inventory that you lost. You said that you have to scrap 3 crores of inventory. So what steps have you put in place so that this does not repeat in the future? Because 3 crores is a substantial sum. Because if you had not lost that in inventory, then the profit would have been higher. So basically, have you put in place any steps for the future so that this thing doesn't get repeated?
Yes, very good question, and thank you for that. We have placed several checkpoints in order to avoid a similar situation happening again. The most important one is that unless we have a written purchase order from the purchasing department of the government, we will not take manufacturing. However, times they call us and say they need condoms badly, please go ahead and manufacture them. So in other words, we will not take any more chances based on their phone calls and verbal commitments. So this way it would be safe that we are manufacturing against their purchase orders.
Okay, sir. Thank you for that. And the next question is in terms of the Brazilian order. You said that you have about 68 crores that is remaining. Do you plan to ship that all in this year, or like this? How is the split between Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 of this 68 crore Brazilian order?
We are planning to do about 42 CR of female condoms until March 2020.
Okay, and this would be equally split, like 10 crore each year, each quarter?
Yeah, we would like to do it equally. It's a lot easier in terms of production planning. However, it doesn't depend on Cupid entirely. The customers' budgets and their requirements may vary, but we prefer the way you are suggesting. It should be spaced equally each quarter.
Okay. And one question is on the South African market. So now that the JV is not going ahead, so like how much do you plan to get from the South African market in the future, and like what is your expectation now for the next few years from this market in terms of revenue?
Okay, like I had mentioned in my last call, there are two types of orders, two categories of orders we are expecting. One is directly from the tender, and last year we had received orders worth about 17 CR which would be completed by September. Then the government is supposed to issue new quantities to manufacturers like Cupid for the year 2 of the 3-year contract. We don't know yet how much Cupid would get. The total quantity is 40 million pieces. The other channel we are expecting and we were hoping is through JV, which has been delayed, and now the new partner who is visiting us next week, he has negotiated with the health ministry in South Africa that if they can get the facilities ready by September, by the time they are ready to award the next year's contract, this JV would be considered for an allotment. We don't know how much it would be, but original was anywhere from 13 to 16 million pieces from the JV.
Okay, so the JV plan is not fully dead yet. So you could go ahead with a JV, but with a new partner who's coming next week. So that is still a possibility.
Yes, that is the possibility currently we are exploring.
Okay. And sir, one final question. You said that the U.S. market is about $10 million, the prescription market, and you expect to capture 10% of this, so that's 1 million. So what would be your profit margin, your EBITDA margin from the U.S.? Would it be higher?
Yes, EBITDA margin is much higher. However, we don't have a complete handle on the marketing expense over there. So from what we understand, the existing supplier is getting approximately $3 per piece, and we are counting at $1 per piece net to Cupid. Now that compares to about 30 to 40 cents we are getting in our other orders. So we see a big potential in the U.S. market, but we have yet to get in there, and it would be a real challenge, but it offers very lucrative opportunities.
Okay, so if you're saying that it's a $10 million market and the price is like $3 per piece, so then approximately you have over 3 million pieces, that's the market. And if you're saying you'll capture $1 per piece, then you'll probably get $3 million in profit. Is the calculation okay? Is that how you see it?
No, not really, in the sense that currently the market is $10 million per year.
Yeah.
Since we have not entered there, we are projecting that Cupid would get 10% of the 10 million in the year of the operation. So that is $1 million.
Yes. Okay. Got it. And sir, one final question. You said you had 2 new customers from South Africa. So how much volume or how much revenue did they have they generated, and how much will they generate in the future? Are they like a big customer, agent, or small, or could you give some more details? It's actually about the 2 new customers in South Africa that you said you added?
For male condoms, we got 2 new customers. One order is for 68 million pieces, and the other one is for 46 million pieces. The total amount is about 23 CR.
And this 23 CR would be delivered over this year?
No, within 1 year, from October 18 to September 19.
Okay. And just one final comment on the dividend policy. The previous caller said that he prefer not to receive dividends. But I think as you might be aware, different people have different views, and you have like many older people who basically rely on dividends. So I think increasing dividends is also like a good thing, because especially if your revenue, your top line and bottom line are not doing that well, then the only sort of comfort is that you're at least giving out dividends. So I would hope that you don't decrease your dividends or like change your dividend policy drastically, because one of the few good things that has come out is that Cupid continues to pay good dividends and it's been increasing. So I hope you bear that in mind as well, that you have different kind of investors and they have different preferences in terms of dividends. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Raja Kumar, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. I would like to congratulate you for the good set of numbers. Just a few questions. So you mentioned that the guidance for next year is you're going to do a top line of 105 to 110 crores. So what is the margin guidance? If you can tell me what is the margin that you're looking at?
Please stay connected. We seem to have lost the line for the management. Please stay connected while we reconnect them.
Yep.
Participants, thank you for patiently holding your lines. We have the line for the management reconnected. Over to you, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. My question is on the top line guidance that you had given, 105 to 110 crores. So just want to know what is the margin guidance, if you can tell me.
The margins are about 15% in the male condom and 40 to 45% in the female condom, and we are targeting about 50-50 ratio, so it would be about 27-28% EBITDA.
Okay, so in terms of absolute number, what is the number you can take?
No, we are looking at, if we have sales of between 105 and 110 CR, we are looking at a PAT of 18 to 19 CR.
Okay. That is still lower because, you said this year it has a lot of one-off, right? The inventory write-off, business development expenses, so on and so forth. So that should kind of get evened out next year, right? So you should work with a higher base. So if you're talking about current year PAT of 15, which includes all these one-off. So if I have to add back and then I have to look at a higher number on that, right? So if you are saying your PAT is going to be only 19, so we are not seeing any improvement compared to the current year.
No. First of all, we are not expecting any write-off on the inventory. In terms of the business development expense, there would be some as we service the existing market as well as look for new markets. So we still expect a net improvement in the bottom line for FY20. So instead of 15 CR, we are looking at 18 to 19 CR.
Okay, got it. And in the last earnings call, you mentioned that Q4 you will do a top line of 45 to 50 crores, but whereas actuals have come at 37 crores. So can you tell me what is the delta? Why you will not even achieve the lower range of the guidance that you gave last quarter?
Please say that again.
Sir, in the last earnings call, you mentioned that in Q4 you will do a top line of 45 to 50 crores because of two orders that got pushed.
Correct.
From December quarter to March, right?
Right.
But if you see, the actual number has come to 37 crores. So my question is, why you are not hit even the lower range of your guidance of 45?
No, the reason for that, like I mentioned earlier, the anticipation on that full Brazilian quantity order, which did not come through due to their own budgeting restrictions. So directly that 40 to 45 came down to 37.
Okay. My only request is, if the management is giving a guidance, at least the lower range should be achieved. So I just want the management to be a little conservative when you give the numbers, so that as an investor, we can expect that Cupid will always meet the guidance, because otherwise, we will always discount your guidance, So that's the request. So having said that, I want to know this 105 to 110 that you have given. So what is the confidence level the management has? Do you think you will go below 105, or you will at least meet the lower range?
It's a good question. Unfortunately, there are so many variables on which the performance depends. Mainly, the customers can reschedule their orders from one quarter to the next or from one financial year to the other. Our targets, which we are giving out today, are based on the facts as we know them today. And with so many other factors are beyond our control. So we try to be as precise as possible, like we did it 40 to 45 CR based on what we were expecting and we were told by the Brazilian authorities. Then due to their change in government and their budget cuts, the procurement, the purchases were delayed. So I understand and of course we'll try to come as close to the forecast as possible, but it's very difficult to control all the factors. Sometime may even do better than the forecast if the situation improves. For example, they want more condoms than what they were planning to buy.
Okay, got it, sir. Sir, just two more questions. So I just want to know on the hedging part, do you hedge your exports, and similarly on the raw material side, do you have a hedging policy? Because I see the prices of the rubber going up. So I just wanted to know what would be the impact, in terms of the margins. Do you have those protected? Do you work on a cost-plus model, or just if you can give more color on that?
In terms of purchases of raw materials?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have a hedge?
Our biggest single cost is the purchase of latex, the natural rubber latex, which is the raw material, and our pricing is based on the Rubber Board of India, a pricing index. And on the top of that, the manufacturer or our supplier, they put a premium price to the Rubber Board price. So more or less the entire industry is getting the raw material at the same, more or less at the same price. In terms of other materials, there are some variations. For example, this year, the silicone oil lubricant, which is imported from both US and China, was in short supply for a while, and the prices moved up. And in last 2 months, they have come down again to the normal level. So we monitor all the price movements on the major ingredients.
Okay, sir. Sir, just two more questions. So on the diversification, I just wanted to kind of caution the management that, don't get into any unrelated diversification because you have enough cash on the balance sheet. I also want the management to take cognizance that currently you have a very good, top line to fixed asset turnover, almost 5 times you are doing, which is really, really good. That talks a lot about the management, the efficiency. So I just want, you to kind of take cognizance of this and make sure that you are moving on a very asset light modeling if you are doing any diversification.
Yeah. No, thank you very much for that suggestion. We are quite aware of the risk if we, in terms of going into an unrelated area where we have no experience. So our priority is to go into this women's sexual health and wellness, which fits right into our current businesses.
Okay, sir. And lastly, on the dividend part, I think I don't agree with one of the callers. He said that you should not be declaring dividend, but I kind of like your current dividend policy, and I would request that the same policy is maintained. That talks about the confidence and talks about the real cash flow that comes into the company, that the investors can vouch that yes, this company is really making profits. So I think you should maintain this current 40 to 45% of dividend payout that you are doing. You should do that and not get into unrelated diversification, because I'm sure this market that you are operating in has enough room, and I think you have a top line of 85-90 crores is not a big thing. So you have enough room to move upwards on the existing market.
No, thank you.
That's about it, sir, and good luck for your next year. Thank you.
No, thank you very much for supporting management's dividend policy. In general, the cash we are generating after taking out the capex and meeting all our requirements, we take a practical approach on the amount of dividend. And we have been getting a lot of guidance from shareholders like yourself, and we'll continue to seek your guidance.
Thank you, sir. That's all from me.
Right.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Narendran Ravi, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. My question is related to the domestic retail exposure. So in the previous calls, you mentioned that you're working with the distributors channels to enhance the revenue and the sales outcome in India. So just wanted to check with you on the latest update on that, considering India is one of the biggest populated country. Just could you please update on that?
Okay. Unfortunately, the distribution channel did not yield the results we were expecting. So what we decided is to go back to the model of marketing our Cupid brand male condoms in the domestic market through the wholesalers. And we are getting a much better performance.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's all from my end.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jayant Raghavan, who's a private investor. Please go ahead.
Dear Mr. Garg, good afternoon. And as a shareholder, I'd like to firstly thank the entire Cupid team for all the efforts and the hard work that you've put in to deliver the numbers and especially generate the cash. So thank you for that. My first simple question is on the spike in the other expenses. Could you tell me what exactly the other expenses constitutes?
The other expenses are the business development expenses I mentioned earlier.
Yes, that's clear. Okay. The second question is regarding succession planning. So what I understand is that we are looking for the CEO, and we currently don't have a chief business development officer or a chief operations officer or something of these critical positions. So where are we in the search for the CEO, and currently who are the key personnel who actually run the day-to-day operations of the company and ensure that we are growing according to the planned growth?
Okay. First of all, we do have a chief operating officer who has worked for the company for 20 years, and we have a entire operating team with an average experience of 15 years. So they are very well trained and highly qualified people doing all the work we have been reporting. In terms of the CEO, we have been trying, as you know, but we have not been able to find a suitable candidate who is marketing oriented and who has also the operating and financial background to take the business to the next level. The performance, as you see, from the existing management team speaks for itself. Like I mentioned in the earlier call, we are perhaps the best profit-making condom manufacturer in India by far. With the existing management.
Yeah, and just couple of points. Number one, regarding the one of the callers had pointed out the increase in the salary cost, whereas there was no change in the top line over the last 2 years. So as a shareholder from my side, my opinion is that the staff need to be compensated well and the deserving staff need to be taken care of regardless of the growth in the top line. So I am personally fine with the increase in the staff costs regardless of the top line because it's important to retain the key performing staff. That is one observation. And the second is, sir, regarding the annual general meeting venue, is it possible to have the meeting somewhere in a place like Bombay instead of having it in Nagpur so people have easier access to the main point like Bombay?
Yeah, thank you very much for the first comment regarding the compensation to our senior people, and we have been very lucky to have all these people, the top 10 people at the compensation we are paying. If we have to replace them, our cost may go 50% higher. So I appreciate your comment that irrespective of the top line, we have to keep our senior staff compensated. In terms of your second comment, we would certainly consider the next AGM to be in a place like Bombay.
Yes. Thank you. And my last comment is regarding the turnover and the market capitalization. So as we can see, the market capitalization has grossly fallen, like close to about 50%, because market pays for growth. And the growth in the top line, despite our best efforts, has not been coming through. So if in, say, FY19 or FY20 or 21, even if we can keep a target of 10 or 15% growth rate by maintaining the return on equity, I think the markets will be actually more comfortable with the company, because right now what is concerning us is the inability to predict or to forecast the bottom line, because every quarter we are stuck to this number between 2.5 to 4 crores and we are not able to move beyond that. So if the management can keep this in view and at least plan to grow 10% consistently year on year, maintain the return on equity and maintain the balance sheet that you have actually maintained as of now, that will be really great. So if the stock price or the market capitalization compound at least 15 to 20% smoothly in a year, that will be great. So we are not looking for a 10x or 20% to a 20x return in a short period of time, but at least a stable rate of growth of say 15 or 20% every year without diluting the quality of the balance sheet.
Yes. No, again, we appreciate your comments. Of course, our target is to have a steady 10 to 15% growth rate, but sometimes situation is beyond our control. However, we would certainly make every effort to maintain a steady level of growth quarter to quarter.
Okay. That's it from my side. Thank you for taking my question, sir. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from Uday Taral, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. just wanted to know, you mentioned in the call earlier that you're selling female condoms in the US online. How is that possible without getting a US FDA approval?
The reason is that through internet sales, there is no requirement that the product must be registered in the country. By law, online sales are allowed from any supplier or manufacturer like Cupid to an individual. There is no government regulatory requirement that that product has to be approved by US FDA. A similar situation is in terms of sex toys. Over $1 billion worth of sex toys are being exported from both China and US to all over the world. And the individual countries may have some legal restrictions, but not on the internet sales.
And what website are you using to sell your condoms in the US?
Oh, we have a list of 8 websites, Amazon, eBay, and several of the condom specialized websites. And if you go to our, it's mentioned. We have about 8 sites, and our sales have really picked up. We increased our sales 33% in last year, from last year's level, and we are expecting to double these internet sales by March 2020. We see that as a real opportunity to not only promote but to realize actual sales on all our products, water-based lubricants, female condoms, male condoms, to many new areas, new countries.
And sir, you're selling this at $1 per piece in US?
No. That was the target we have when we get the US FDA approval. This internet sales is a very, very small quantity. We just started on it.
So what is the price you are selling it at?
We are getting at about $2, but we have made only 2 sales so far. So it's not a good statistics to depend on.
Okay, understood. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next question is from Puneet Kumar, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So, sir, this question is regarding the water-based jelly. You have been given that it is the capacity is 75 million per annum. Right?
Please say that again.
The capacity of water-based lubricant, you have mentioned it is 75 million sachets per year.
I still don't get it. Please say once more.
You have mentioned that the water-based lubricant is 75 million per year, right?
Water-based lubricant is
75 million per year, sachets per year.
Yes.
So, what is the number of breakups we have delivered in the last year?
No, we have sold about 1 CR.
1 CR, right?
Yes. And
so,
yes.
So what is the number of sachets? Means I can't relate in the percentage of utilization. What I want to know is what is the percent utilization in the water-based jelly?
Okay, we are utilizing 90% of our production capacity, but just to give you an idea, our margin on the sale of water-based lubricant is about 50%.
Okay, so from where we are selling this, like online channels or from wholesale distributors, like how?
Internationally, it is through NGOs. For example, we had a very good order recently from a party in Austria. And within India, we are also selling it through NGOs and through some wholesale dealers.
Okay, sir. And the next question is from the balance sheet. Like you have mentioned that there is a 4 CR of increment in the PPE, property, plant, equipment expense. So where it had come from? Can you explain on that?
Again, please say it again.
I have seen on the balance sheet that the PPE means property and property equipment, plant equipment has been increased by 4 crores. So can you explain where it has gone?
What did we purchase in terms of equipment?
Yeah.
Yes, there are 2 big German-made dipping lines, which was worth about 3 CR. And then we have electronic testing machine. We have purchased 6 of them at about 30 lakhs per piece. So those are the 2 major pieces of equipment, categories of equipment.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. These are my questions from my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from Subhu Murugesan, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thank you for taking my question again. So this is in terms of your guidance. So you said for next year, you expect to do 105 to 110 crore in sales, but the profit will only be around 18 to 19 CR. But this year, on 85 crore of sales, you're already making around 15 CR, which includes an inventory write-off of like 3 crores. So if you adjust for the inventory write-off for this year, on 85 CR, you would have made close to 18 crore already this year, adjusting for the inventory write-off. So basically, how is it that next year you go to 105 crore, but still your profit is only 18 crore?
The main reason for that is the percentage mix of the male and female condoms. Male condoms would be more like 60-65% next year, and balance will be female condoms. So the impact on bottom line is due to the low EBITDA coming out of male condom sales.
Okay, and so this year you're saying you had a higher female condom contribution. Could you just explain how that works? Is it so because next year I expect you have the Brazilian order, which would be a lot of female condoms, and you also have, but this year you did not have Brazilian order that much except the last quarter. So from like an order perspective, how are you saying that female condom would be lower next year, especially now you have this big Brazilian order?
Okay. The Brazilian orders, the plan we have been given is that we would be dispatching about 40 million pieces. And based on our past experience, we hope that it will come through. But the balance of the material, except 6 CR from South Africa, so 46 to 48 million will be female, and the balance about 60 million will be male condoms, which has lower EBITDA.
Okay. And in terms of raw material cost, could you give just an overview? Like you said, like a couple of quarters before, you said one of the products was low in supply and prices were very high. But so basically, how is the situation? Do you expect any raw material squeeze and higher prices for the next few quarters?
No, actually, I think we are in a real good situation. We don't foresee any special spike in the raw material prices. They are all available in plenty, and the item you had mentioned was silicone oil, which has come down by 40% in last 2 months. So the situation right now looks normal.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, and good luck for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from Omkar Kulkarni, who's an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. My question is, when you will be, what will be the total expenses you will be taking for the US?
Expenses for?
Like for business development, for various approvals, for procedural things and all that stuff.
For US?
Yeah, particularly for US in the next 1.5 years.
I would say $1 million to $1.5 million at the most, including the contraceptive efficacy study and using the 510K related work. So about $1 million to $1.5 million.
So approximately 1 year worth of sales, right?
Well, we don't know how the sales will go. We are hoping after the initial efforts, the sales would pick up. So it's difficult to pinpoint the numbers right now, but I think it's the largest and most lucrative market. So we are giving it a priority, even if the initial marketing expenses are higher than our initial budget.
Okay, and the next question is about the forthcoming, like the second year order from South African tender. When are you expecting that?
October.
In October it will be finalized?
Yes, we hope so.
Okay, and in the first order, what was the share gained by Cupid? How much Cupid gained? Hello?
We seem to have lost the line for the management. Please stay connected while we join them back.
चालू आहे माझं झाकण ठेव त्याच्यावर
The line. Over to you, sir.
My question was regarding when you are expecting the second tender. You said October, I guess, right?
Sorry?
South African second year tender said it will be in October, right?
The order from South Africa?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
For the second year?
Yeah, for second year it should come through in October.
Okay, and how much percentage was allocated to Cupid in the first year, and out of how much order?
No, we had received from the tender about 17 crores worth of order for Cupid to supply female condoms, and about 23 crores worth of male condom orders. So a total of 40 CR we had received this year from the South African government.
Okay, and out of that 17 CR, how much was the total tender for female?
Total tender was, this was about 8 out of 40. This was, we got about 20%.
Can you segregate that in terms of male and female?
Yes, the female was 20% of the total order, female condom, and the male was much, much bigger. It's 1 billion pieces, so it was about 100 million, and we got only 23 million out of 100 million for male condoms.
Okay, so 20% in terms of female, and the rest was given to FC or other HL or Chinese company?
Yeah. No, HLL was minimal. Bulk of the orders went to female health.
Okay, and what about the Chinese company? Whether they issued any...
No, Chinese company is not producing, from what we understand. So they did not even participate in the tender. So as we speak, there are only 3 players, Female Health, HLL and Cupid.
Okay, and out of, how much is the tender for Indian government for the current financial year?
Current financial year, we have received about 25 CR worth. The total order is about 200 CR from the budget which was presented in February.
Okay, so 175 CR would have gone to HLL then, correct?
HLL plus couple of more private manufacturers like Cupid.
Okay.
But mostly to HLL.
The next question is, when are you expecting the second year order from, second tender from Brazilian government? And what would be the approximate size for that?
From what they have told us, it would be about 85 to 90 CR worth of order, and normally their budgets are approved in March, April of each year.
Okay, so the tender would be when it would open, in May, June or June, July?
No. I think if their budgets are approved in March, April, it should be not later than May, because usually they do need these condoms and commodities. So they move on the procedure, tender opening process immediately after the funds are approved.
Okay, so by May we should hear from them about the tender.
Yeah, we hope so.
Okay, and what was the current year order for, the total size? Cupid received 74 CR, right?
74 total amount.
Yeah, and how much was the total tender? 90 CR worth of order?
No, they got about 6 million, so that would be about, each is 35, I would say 84 total, 74 plus 10.
Okay, so out of 84, Cupid received 74 worth of orders, right?
No, Cupid's total allotment was 74.
Yeah, out of the total tender size of 84 CR, right?
It will be about 84.
Okay. And how many parties participated in this tender?
I believe only 3 are qualified.
Okay. HLL, FC and Cupid.
Yes.
Okay, and can you tell the reasons why Cupid was preferred over FC? In terms of price, you would be superior than FC, but in terms of quality, can you explain?
No, I think quality was the most important criteria, and also the certifications, regulatory requirements. We had a complete set of certificates which they had verified it during their 3-day stay in Nasik during the audit period. So I think the auditing team was very much impressed by the capability of Cupid staff. I would think that one, along with the competitive price, made it possible.
Thank you very much. That was the last question. I would now like to hand the conference back to the management team for closing comments.
On behalf of Cupid, I would like to thank all the shareholders who have participated in the fourth quarter and full year FY19 earnings conference call. Also, I would like to thank all the employees of the company who have worked throughout the year to achieve these objectives. And finally, I am always thankful to the shareholders who have stayed with Cupid and who have given us the confidence to carry on the work with the objective of always trying to improve or add the value to the shareholders. So thank you very much and good luck.